Welcome to my crash course on Justin Dart Jr. Justin Dart Jr. was born August 29, 1930 in Chicago, Illinois to a wealthy family. His parents, Justin Dart Sr. and Ruth Walgreen, had a bitter public divorce in 1939, leaving Dart Jr. bitter and angry. Dart Jr. hospitalized, pictured, surprisingly survived polio in 1948, leaving him paralyzed using a wheelchair, but his family's love gave him a new outlook on life. He married Yoshiko Saji in 1968, and together were foster parents to 77 children, many disabled over 17 years, with 5 children from 2 prior marriages. Justin Dart Jr. died June 22, 2002, from respiratory failure and post-polio syndrome. Justin Dart Jr. attended the University of Houston in the early 1950s, earning degrees in political science and education, though denied a teaching certificate due to his disability, and a master's in history, starting a campus group opposing racism. He founded 3 companies in Japan in 1963, notably Tupperware Japan, where pictured, Justin Dart Jr. had a team meeting of female and disabled employees. He resigned in 1965 after corporate conflict over his promoting women and hiring disabled individuals. In 1967, with Yoshiko by his side, he became a pioneer for disability rights, while teaching independent living skills to disabled and disadvantaged people. Returning to the U.S. in 1974, Dart Jr. faced the politics of activism. Pushing his disability rights agenda meant changing political parties, Democrat to Republican in 1972, then back to Democrat in 1995. He was appointed to state and federal committees for people with disabilities from 1980 to 1993. The Texas Governor's Committee for Persons with Disabilities, National Council on Disability, and Congressional Task Force on the Rights and Empowerment of Americans with Disabilities, as well as rehabilitation services in the U.S. Education Department, though forced to resign for opposing Reagan's rigidity on disability rights, and President's Committee on the Employment of People with Disabilities, again forced to resign in 1993. Dart felt liberated, founding Justice for All in 1993, defending against congressional and other activists' attempts to weaken the ADA, and American Association of People with Disabilities in 1995, uniting renowned people with disabilities. His presence, pictured at right, at a disability rights march with Judy Heumann at left, echoes his role model Martin Luther King Jr. Dart Jr. and Yoshiko's self-founded cross-country tours in the early and late 1980s took them to all 50 states twice, adding Puerto Rico, Guam, and Washington, D.C. to a second tour. He traveled with friends, others with disabilities, and local advocates, requiring they find accessible transportation, housing, restaurants, etc. Dart Jr. and Yoshiko pictured staying with friends in 1980 during their first tour. A national dialogue collecting testimonies signified a first for disabled individuals to voice their wants and needs from their government and nation. This grassroots support was key. His findings called to end discrimination against those with disabilities, and his written drafts were the foundation of the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. The Americans with Disabilities Act, signed on July 26, 1990 by President George H.W. Bush on the White House lawn, pictured with Dart Jr. at right, is the largest national landmark civil rights law. It protects those with disabilities, ensuring equal access and opportunity through effective communication and reasonable modifications to prohibit employment discrimination against those qualified with disabilities within hiring, promotion, and reasonable accommodation practices, mandate accessibility in all state and local government services, programs, and activities to ensure equal participation for those with disabilities, and require accessibility in public accommodations and commercial facilities, including restaurants, hotels, theaters, and retail stores. Dart Jr., pictured, received the Presidential Medal of Freedom from President Clinton on MLK's birthday, January 15, 1998, commemorating many decades tirelessly advocating for disability rights, while also writing a political manifesto, Revolution of Empowerment. Justin Dart Jr.'s legacy lives on through the ADA. Its logo, pictured, is set against a blue square background depicting a white graphic of an individual seated in a wheelchair with outstretched arms, pushing forward, symbolizing equity and full access for those with disabilities in society. Dart Jr. is forever woven into the ADA's purpose, language, and outcomes. Thank you.